Right. We're going to start a Shabbat service. TV land, I'm Bishop Ronald Hairston Jr. We are in Shabbat service already, January the 5th, 2019. Excuse me. Woo. Still got that 18-19 messed up already. Alright, the Creed of Bethel is Ephesians 4:5. Believe one Yahweh, faith on baptism. And Ephesians chapter 2, verse 20, our foundation is built upon the apostles and the prophet. And Yahushua Mashiach is the chief cornerstone. We here at 118 Cheney Avenue, Jacksonville, North Carolina. The phone number here at Bethel is 910-388-5295. And your bishop phone number is 910-381-3056. I'll give you the number if you got any questions of the times of the services. And any questions about what we speak in this house right now, give me a call. We are in Shabbat service started at 11:30. We got instruction of the Torah, Yahushua study instruction of the Torah, and Yom Ravi at 7. And the beginning of Shabbat and Yom Shishi at 7 o'clock, which we had last night. So those are the services. You are welcome to worship with us here in Onslow County. We tell you come on and come and bless His name. All right, I don't know if I forgot anything. Did I say about the Creed of Bethel? Yes, I did. We're ready to start Shabbat service. We speak about Shabbat. I'm not going to be long with you on Shabbat because y'all just give me my sermon. My sermon is your soul shall not die. Your soul does not die. So that is my sermon today. I can't wait to get in that thing. But anybody got any Shabbat scriptures today they want to share?
I have one.
Go ahead, Sister Sue.
Okay, well this is where God told me to go. Just like I said earlier, the outline was just one of my favorite places. Exodus chapter 16. Starting at verse 21. And this is where where he started giving them the manna. So, and they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, This is that which Elohim hath said. Tomorrow is the rest day of the holy Shabbat unto Elohim. Bake that which ye will bake today, and see this that ye will see this. And what that which remaineth over, lay up for you to keep until the morning. And they laid it up until the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is the Shabbat unto Elohim. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Shabbat, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass that they went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. And Elohim said unto Moses, How long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that Elohim hath given you the Shabbat. Therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place, let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. And just in case you're wondering about the math, 52 weeks in a year for 40 years, that's 2,080 days that Yah did not give them manna on the Shabbat day.
Wow. So 2,000 what?
2,080.
2,080 days? That's a lot of days.
Yes.
40 years. 40 years that y'all did not go against His word. And I shared that other day in the service, circumcision. Then when they went back to the land and they ate for the first time, and y'all stopped the manna from coming. But they said, Yahushua don't go against His own word. So Yahushua didn't go against His word. Y'all deal with me how Yahushua don't go against y'all word. Y'all said, Yahushua said, even as I kept my father's commandments. Yahuwah kept the Shabbat day. Yeshua kept the Shabbat day, and we gonna keep the Shabbat day. And again, you tell me what apostle did not keep the Shabbat day. All the apostles in the Désiré, in the Torah, kept the Shabbat day. Even y'all famous apostle Paul. Y'all Gentiles love so much. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to keep on speaking about what Paul said and what Paul did and what Paul do this and Paul said this and all that. You got to remember, this is what y'all be telling me. Apostle Paul was a Jew. Iran, straight up hardcore. Taught under Galilee. He was taught under the chiefest Pharisees. One of the king, one with all the instructor. You know what I'm saying? So hey, and then y'all telling me even Apostle Paul was rushing to get to a feast day, man. You know what I'm saying? He said, I got to make it to Jerusalem. I got to. He was telling he was taking ship to ship, just get to Jerusalem on that feast day, man. That boy was traveling. We read that on Yahushua study, instructing the Torah. I was looking at that, how Apostle Paul was just traveling. He was getting with brothers, man, talking to them while he was traveling. Every ship he was grabbing, he was like grabbing buses, you know, different bus trains, you know what I'm saying, different train stations, you know what I'm saying? He was taking ships like that, you know what I'm saying, getting back to Jerusalem, just to make it a feast day. So don't tell me, you know what I'm saying, that you should not keep feast days. And Brother Fabien, I like when Yahushua was talking to me, man, and he's telling me about the feast days that won't be no more. He said the Passover, we don't need a Passover in the millennium. Because Yahushua is our sacrifice, you know. So that's one feast day we're going to have. Yom Kippur. Don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? The cleansing of the world, cleansing of that. Yahushua is that. You know what I'm saying? And the one we have is the tabernacle. The Feast of the Tabernacle. That's about the one we're going to have. The Feast of Purim. That's coming up next. Don't want to worry about that. Because in Babylon and all that stuff, man, the day, what's that? The day, what's his name? Well, Esther and them. Which one was that? Yeah, with my mind, you know what I'm saying, with Malachi. And Haman and all that. That's the day with the Persian, kings, Persian and all that stuff. They wouldn't kill it. We don't have to worry about that feast day no more. Hanukkah, man. Don't worry about that feast day no more with the Maccabees and stuff. What we got to worry about, man, is Shabbat, the Feast of Tabernacle. That's it. I was thinking about that, man. You know, it was hot. We do that now for remembrance of what y'all has did. But when Yahushua come back, you know what I'm saying, we worship him in the new millennium, we don't worry about all those feast days. But I'm trying to say is, Apostle Paul, that boy was, I was laughing at it because y'all showed me that. Apostle Paul was getting to that feast day. He was in that country. Got that ship, he was going to that country. When he was getting to that country, he was looking at brothers. Brothers were right there waiting for him. Fellowshipping, everything. Then he got with the prophet. I was telling that the one of the words, this girl is going to be persecuted. He told me, don't cry. He said, I'll die for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'll do his will. And they was trying to persuade him. Then they knew they couldn't sway Apostle Paul. They left him alone. They started rejoicing with him. That's what I was trying to say is, Apostle Paul was even trying to get to a feast day. So don't tell me. And that was late in the book. Books say. So it got to be at least 15 to 20 years afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So Shabbat, feast days, yes. Until the new millennium. That's what y'all was dealing with me this week too. About how there won't be no more feast days except one. And he told me the reason why there wasn't going to be no feast days. I can understand that. Because there's going to be a new Shamarine and Rutz, new heaven and earth, man. All things are passed away. All things become new. There going to be no more of that stuff, man, worrying about the Nazarene coming out of bondage 430 years. You know what I'm saying? And what the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all that stuff. Yes, we're going to remember now, but we don't remember what they don't did, what the covenant stuff is. So, Shabbat day is correct. If you're not keeping Shabbat day, TV land, you're wrong. I'm going to tell you, sin it. You don't like it, but I'm going to tell you. If If you got a problem with it, please call me so I can tell you face to face or on the phone. You know, I'm not ashamed to speak to y'all's word. I'm one of these pastors and bishops that ain't scared. And I'll tell you, if you're a pastor and bishop, I'm gonna tell you the same thing. You're wrong. That's why he made me a bishop so I can talk to some of y'all pastors and stuff. That's why I'm thankful for that, because I couldn't really say nothing to y'all pastors, man. Some of y'all bishops and some of y'all apostles saying all that. But now since he made me like that, I can talk. And I ain't scared to say anything either. That you wrong, you sinning, and you teaching your congregation go straight to hell. That's messed up. They say, how can two fall in the ditch? You know what I'm saying? The leader fall, the blind fall, and the leader, blind fall, and the blind, and then both of them fall in the ditch, what Yahushua said, and you blind. And you know better. You know what the Désiré said. And you know y'all don't change not. And you're going to tell them that you're going to have to keep the Shabbat. And after everybody's telling you need to keep the Shabbat, and the Désiré telling you to keep the Shabbat, and you don't want to listen to y'all, and you tell your congregation, oh, that's just the Old Testament, we don't have to talk hearken to that, we don't have to listen to that. We all saved by grace. Yes, you are saved by grace right now because Yahushua ain't did you yet. That's the grace of Yah. But when you dead, there ain't no more wisdom in the grave. There's no life. There's nothing in the grave. There's nothing. Everything does cease when you're in the grave. So when you're on this earth, you better do it right. Like Yahushua told you, you better do it quickly. You better do it quickly. You better get it right. Exodus 20, verse 8. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it Kadesh. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Shabbat of Elohim your Yah. And in it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughters, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor the cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. For in 6 days Elohim made the heavens and the earth, the seas, and all that in them is, and rested on the 7th day. Wherefore Elohim blessed the 7th day, the Sabbath day, the Shabbat day, and hallowed it. It says, wherefore Elohim blessed the Sabbath day, and blessed the Sabbath day, and hallowed it. Hallowed it means sanctified, Kadesh. Wherefore, he commanded, he told you to remember it, and he said, wherefore, he done blessed it. That's what everybody forgetting what y'all has done. Everybody talking about you don't have to keep. Because Yeshua said so. Yeshua didn't never said that, man. And then you want to say we saved by grace. He's saying what a man done said. And Apostle Paul did not say that. You might go to one of the scripture in Colossians, you might want to say, don't let nobody judge you on a day or a festival or event. That's one of the scriptures you're going to stick on. Are the other scriptures in the whole Torah. Don't let one scripture get you confused and you're going to go straight to hell for that one little passage.
And that's talking about from a Hebrew Israelite perspective. Some Hebrews kept the Sabbath by the moon, the lunar Sabbath, and some other Hebrews kept it other ways. So to avoid confusion, if y'all want to keep the Sabbath by the lunar, go ahead or whatever. Or if y'all want to keep the Sabbath every 7 days, whatever.
Right.
But at least you're doing it. But don't start an argument over there. That's what it's talking about.
Okay, not confused. I understand the contention, the argument about
It's about when to keep the day.
when, yes. But I like the word like you said. I appreciate that, sir. I just like that because Apostle Paul, it shows every time he was keeping Shabbat.
Yeah.
I love it because Apostle Paul didn't miss a beat, especially when he was in Corinthians, man. The Corinth, he was there for about a year. He's still up there in the synagogue, up there conversing, teaching and everything else. So that's what I love about it. Their own Apostle Paul keeping Shabbat, but they don't talk about that. All right. Anybody else got any Shabbat scriptures? I can go more, but we're gonna stop right there. We're getting the sermon.
I'll do one.
What? Brother Fabien? Come
Well,
on, Brother Fabien. That's what I'm talking about, sir.
Well, I guess it could be a little bit of Shabbat.
Okay, go ahead, do what you got.
It's
Come on.
Leviticus 23.
Yes, I like Leviticus 23. Which
I'll
one you
just
got?
read this in the honor of the Shabbat.
All right, that's Shabbat.
6 days shall you work, be done, but on the 7th day is the day of Shabbat. You go to convocation, ye shall do no work therein. is the Shabbat and Yah's in Yah in all your dwellings. But the main point is back down, talking about the first month of the year, which is the Passover, where you know, take all your sins away. And
Right.
Brother was talking about this. I was listening to the other week about how we can double dip on the first of the year, because we got the Gregorian calendar first of the year. Y'all know this is the first of the year, the Gregorian calendar.
Right.
The Hebrew calendar starts in March
Right.
of the Passover, but it's a double dip in taking the sins of the past year away. Saying, "Yeah, it's a new year, forgive me for all my sins." And then when Passover comes to you, it's double dipping.
I like double dipping.
In forgiveness.
In forgiveness. So I do that every day. The New Year is great. You know what I'm saying? Everybody do that, but I do that too. But I like the Feast of Atonement. Everybody here too, the priests.
The 7th month.
Yeah, 7th month. I love that month right there. I love that month too. That's I always use that month too. And I look back how y'all put me in jail in that month of atonement to cleanse me, man, which is awesome. And in the 7th month I got out of that and started my brand new life back in Yah. So I understand about that Feast of Atonement, the atonement, cleansing. It's very special when you really look at it in that perspective. Okay. All right. Thank y'all again. The sermon again. Like I said, we're gonna talk about people want to say, man, that once you're dead, you're dead. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lie. People just want to get out and like they say they ain't going to hell. People don't believe that there's a hell. There is a hell. There's a Sheol. There's a place. There's a place for the dead. Believe me. There's a place. A lot of people try to erase from their mind. There's no place like that. And then a lot of people don't believe that, man, there's going to be a transfiguration. A lot of people believe that this is going to be transferred to the millennium. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But that's a lie too. There's a place that Yah has for his people before we go to the millennium. And for the day that we go to the millennium, I'm saying he got a set place for the righteous, and he got a set place for the wicked. Point blank. And that's why I'm thankful for that. I don't know, because I ain't dead yet, and I ain't been through that yet, so I know ain't nobody came back from the dead to tell me anything else. But I do have some proof what some of the people went through already, and like I said, and how there is a place for them. They didn't explain everything else, but they exactly tell you that there's a place that Yah has for you. And we're going to talk about that. So you let people know that, hey, when people talk about I'm going to hell and I'm just going to die and I'm going to have a new life or nothing, I'm just forget about my life, I'll be dead. You can stop in the tracks and say, no, man, you die, you're going to a place. If you don't believe in Yah, it's a place of judgment. A place right there you're going to get judged. If you do right by Yah, it's a place of peace, for the new millennium. For Yah has in store for his people. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit because y'all was dealing with me about that. He want to show you proof in the Bible that there's a transfiguration, that this body, there's a transfiguration that you don't stay in this body. This body right here goes to the ground, but you got a soul that goes somewhere. Your soul never dies. That's what I'm going to get at. Your soul never dies. People think this is it. Once you die, you just go straight to the ground, and that's over. That's a lie. And I think when y'all was doing this, we're going to do a lot of reading in the Apocrypha today. I had a chance to go through the Apocrypha, which I love, man. And I was reading in there, man. It was blessing my soul. I had a chance to get into the Apocrypha where y'all was dealing with me, and man, he gave me more stuff. I can't go over it now, but he was just, man, it was enlightening me. I was getting excited what y'all was showing me. All right? So let's pray. Yeshua, I'm asking you to give me the wisdom and knowledge as your word go forth. Let it go forth, Yahushua. Not my words, but your words be spoken today, Yah. I'm asking you to open up eyes. I ask you to clear hearts and minds, but to give hearts to receive it, have understanding, that they may preach the same to others, encourage others. But the word is spoken today. In Yahushua's name we pray. Amen. All right. Thank you, Yahuwah. you, Yahuwah. He gave me so much. I don't even know where to start. Thank you, Yahuwah. God bless your name. All right, let's go to Lucas chapter 16. All right. And I speak to y'all Seventh-day Adventist church. Seventh-day Adventist church don't believe. They believe that you just dead and that's it. And then after that, you go to the new millennium. They believe that there's no hell, that after you die, they believe that once you're dead, you go to hell, and there's no existence, that's it. That's a lie. Seventh-day Adventists, which do keep the Shabbat. Do love you because you got me the Shabbat. I do love you for that. But we go with the same scripture what Sister Sue talked about. We always talk about that. Let's go to Lucas chapter 16, verse 19 to 31. It says right here, there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desired to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and seeing Abraham far off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest the good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is come comfort, and you are tormented. And beside all this, between us and you there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. Then he said, I pray you, therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. Abraham said unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went into them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto him, If they hear not Musa and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. And that verse 31 was talking about Yahushua. They're not persuaded yet. They seen Yahushua rose from the dead and spoke to him. They're not persuaded. But I want to talk about the bosom. There was 2 places. There's one where Lazarus went, you know what I'm saying? And there's one afar off where the rich man was at. And he looked up, tormented, and asked for the tip, to dip in water. You know what I'm saying? And then Abraham told him, once from this can't come there, and we can't go there. It was a great gulf fix. It was a place. And he felt that place. So I'm trying to tell you, his soul, and Yahushua didn't say a parable. That's why I want to talk about the Seventh-day Adventist church, man. This ain't no story. Yahuwah was speaking truth. Yah was speaking truth about this thing. I'm going to show you about this. I'm going to go in the pocket. I'm going to tell you about how the pocket about Enoch spoke of these places. So I know Yahushua would not lie of these places. You know what I'm saying? So I want to share to you, man, that his soul did not die. He was in torment. But look how he said, in his lifetime, he received rich stuff, luxury stuff. You know what I'm saying? And Lazarus, they were looking at the dog, were licking the sores off him. But now, he's being tormented, and Lazarus being comforted at this time. So think about it. If you're living for Yah right now, you're going to be comforted. I don't know if you're going to be asleep, like Apostle Paul said. The dead, he said, the ones, don't worry about the ones that are sleeping, which are dead. But I know we're going to be comforted when you're gone. The ones in Yah. But if you're not in Yahuwah, you're going to be tormented. You're going to go to a place. And that's where you're going to be at. To the day of judgment. The last judgment. Let's go on. Help me, Yah. All right, let's go to Jasher, chapter 42. And this is one of my favorites. I had to look this up. And I was reading it. Chapter 42. Jasher 42. Apocrypha. Rich, you can grab my book over there. You got your phone? And give it to Brother Mike if you ain't got it. All right. Verse 26. And Joseph heard that the Israelites were besieging to Mizraim, and Joseph lamentated and wept as this thing that he was to be so far removed from the land of Canaan. This is when you know he was sold. His brothers sold him into slavery. For his father and he wept bitterly while he was riding upon the camel, and one of their men observed him and made him go down from the camel and walk on foot. And notwithstanding, then this Joseph continued to cry and weep, and he said, "Oh, my father, my father." And one of the Israelites rose up and smote Joseph upon the cheek. And he continued to weep, and Joseph was fatigued in the road and was unable to proceed on account of the bitterness of his soul. And they all smote him and afflicted him in the road, and they terrified him in order that he might cease from weeping. And Elohim saw the ambition of Joseph and his trouble, and Elohim brought down upon those men darkness and confusion. That's the man of Yah. Don't mess with the man of Yah. Confusion. And in the hand of everyone that smote him became withered. And they said to each other, "What is this thing that Yah has done to us in the road?" And they knew not that this befall them of the account of Joseph. And the men proceeded on the road, and they passed along the road of Ephraim, where Rachel was buried. And Joseph reached his mother's grave, and Joseph hastened and ran to his mother's grave and fell upon the grave and wept. And Joseph cried aloud upon his mother's grave, and he said, "Oh, my mother, oh, thou hast didst give me birth. Awake now and rise and see your son." This dude talking about wake now. How he has been sold for a slave and no one to pity him. Or rise and see your son. Weep with me on account of my troubles, and see the heart of my brethren. Look at that, see the heart of my brothers. See what my brothers done did. Arose, my mother. Arose, awake from thy sleep for me, and sleep, and direct your battles against my brethren. Or how have they stripped me of my coat, sold me already twice for a slave, and separated me from my father, and there is no one to pity me. Arouse, and lay that cause against them before Yah, and see whom Yah will justify in the judgment, and whom he will condemn. Rise, O my mother, rise, awake from thy sleep, and see my father, how his soul is which me this day, and comfort him and ease his heart. And Joseph continued to speak these words, and Joseph cried aloud and wept bitterly upon his mother's grave, and he ceased speaking, and from bitterness of heart he became still as a stone upon the grave. And Joseph heard a voice speaking to him from beneath the ground. That's what I'm talking about. He heard a voice. Joseph heard a voice speaking to him from beneath the ground, which answered him with bitterness of heart, and with a voice of weeping and praying in these words, my son, Joseph, I have heard the voice of your weeping and the voice of your lamentation. I have seen your tears. I know your troubles, my son, and it grieves me for your sake. Abundant grief is added to my grief. Abundant grief is added to my grief. Now therefore, my son Joseph, my son, hope to Elohim and wait for him, and do not fear, for Elohim is with you. He will deliver you from all trouble. Rise, my son, go down to unto Mizraim with your master, and do not fear, for Elohim is with you, my son. And she continued to speak like unto these words unto Joseph, and she was still. And Joseph heard this, and he wondered greatly at this. He heard this, he wondered greatly. I think I'll be wondering greatly too at this. And he continued to weep. And after this, one of the Israelites observed him crying and weeping upon the grave, and his anger was kindled against him. And he drove him from there, and he spoke to him and cursed him. And Joseph said unto the men, May I find grace in your sight to take me back to my father's house, and he will give you abundance of riches. And they answered him, saying, Art thou not a slave? And where is your father? And if thou hadst a father, thou wouldst not already twice have been sold for a slave for so little value. And their anger was still arose against him. And they continued to smite him and to chastise him. And Joseph wept bitterly. And Elohim saw Joseph's affliction. And Elohim again spoke these men and chastised them. And Elohim caused darkness to envelope them upon the earth. And the lightning flashed, and the thunder roared, and the earth shook as the voice of the thunders and of the mighty wind. And the men were terrified. I like that. And the men were terrified, and they knew not where they should go. And the beast and the camel stood still. I like that. Look at the beast and the camel stood still. And they laid them. And they laid them, but they would not go. They let them, they would not go. They smote them, and they crouched upon the ground. And the men said to each other, What is this that Yah has done to us? That's like saying, just like they did to Jonah. You know, when Jonah, the ship was rocking, man. Our sins that the thing had thus befallen us. And one of them answered and said unto them, Perhaps on account of the sins of afflicting this slave has this thing happened this day to us. Now therefore implore him strongly to forgive us. Implore him strongly. Not even ask forgiveness. And then we shall know or on whose account this evil befall us. And if Yah shall have compassion over us, then we shall know that all this come to us on account of the sin or affliction of this slave. And the men did so, and they supplicated Joseph and pressed him to forgive them. And they said, We have sinned to Elohim and to thee. Now therefore vouchsafe to request of your Yah that he shall put away this death from among us, for we have sinned to him. And Joseph did according to their words, and Elohim hearkened to Joseph. And Elohim put away the plagues which he had inflicted upon those men on account of Joseph. And the beast rose up from the ground, and they conducted them, and they went on, and the raging storm abacked, and the earth became to tranquility. And the men proceeded on their journey to go down to Mizraim, and the men knew that this evil had befallen on account of Joseph. And they said to each other, Behold, we know that it is on account of his affliction that this evil befell us. Now therefore, why shall we bring this death upon our souls? Let us hold counsel what to do to this slave. Now I get to read on, but I want to read all that about don't touch the man of Yah. That's another part on that one. You know what I'm saying? You better watch. And I like reading that part. You better watch who you talk to and who you put your hands on. That's one thing. Because Joseph was afflicted. Joseph was crying out. Joseph was so disturbed. You know what I'm saying? He was hurt. He was crushed what his brothers done did. That's another sermon. But I want to talk about how his mother, he heard the voice of his mother from out of the ground. And his mother encouraged him of what Yah, because his mother probably knew what Yah was going to do. Because you already know there was a prophecy already that the people had to go to Mizraim anyway, the children. So I just like how his mother, Rachel, encouraged him, spoke to him out of the ground. So I guess he was in Sheol. That's why I'm talking about, man, where the place The place, man, where the rich man and the beggar, the man Lazarus. I just want to share with you, man, that your soul don't die, man. There's a place where you're at when you die. There's a place where Yah has you. All right? Let's continue on. I got much scriptures to go to. I'm going to continue on reading. Let's go to Jasher chapter 1. Since I'm in the Apocrypha, I'm going to be going back and forth. Excuse me. Jasher chapter 1. Man, I just like how y'all dealing with me with this, man. Y'all people don't take it seriously, but this is a serious thing. That's why Yahushua came, man. So we don't have to go to that place, man. We gotta have an atonement. People know the atonement for the living. The blood, you gotta have blood to cleanse you. You know what I'm saying? There's no remission of sins unless there be blood shed. And Yahushua's blood was shed for our sins. You got to have that blood. Yes, you got to have it. You know what I'm saying? And another thing too, y'all dealing with me about that. Who's been circumcised again? Now I'm waiting for the doctor, the Jewish Ivan doctor, to feel I will be circumcised again, because that's the covenant. Point blank. I will be doing that. I don't know about y'all, but that got to have that done. You know what I'm saying? I know you straight, man. Come on, man, because your father's one, man. You know what I'm saying? You in there already. All right. You know what I'm saying? But when that do happen, I see that TV land. See, y'all told me that. Y'all Hebrews and Israelites don't even get that from you. But y'all told me already. That's something I want to do. That's keeping the covenants. And I spoke to last week, they did it again. Yahushua. They did it again. Back in those days, they didn't have no, you know what I'm saying, anesthesia and nothing like that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
It was all technique.
It's all technique, but hey, just like before Simeon and what's his name, Levi? What was it? Simeon, Levi, man. Before they took him out, Shema. What's up? They were hurt for 3 days, man.
They probably did it messed up too.
I don't know, man.
It was rough. Yeah, it was probably a little rough.
It took, and I know it said that when he went, it takes 3 days for the fever relief. And not the fever, I like that it takes 3 days for the fever relief. It means for, I guess, the hurt to go away or something like that. Yeah, there you go. I like how they said that. Jasher chapter 1, verse 24. We're going to talk about Cain and Abel. It says, and now, verse 24, and when Cain heard the words of Abel, his brother had spoken, behold, the anger of Cain was kindled against his brother Abel for declaring this thing. And Cain hastened and rose up and took the iron part of his plowing instrument with which he suddenly smote his brother, and he slew him. Cain spit the blood of his brother Abel upon the earth, and the brother Abel steamed upon the earth before the flock. And after this Cain repented, having slain his brother, and he was sadly grieved, and he wept over him, and it vexed him exceedingly. Cain rose up and dug a hole in the field wherein he put his brother's body, and he turned the dust over it. And Elohim knew that Cain had done to his brother. And Elohim appeared to Cain and said unto him, where is Abel thy brother that was with thee? Oof. And Cain dissembled and said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And Elohim said unto him, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cries unto me from the ground where thou hast slain him. For thou hast slain your brother and hast dissembled before me, and this is imagined in thy heart that I saw you not. Man, that's another one. Imagine how that you saw him not, that I saw you not, nor knew of thy action. That's powerful right there. But thou didst this thing and didst slay your brother for naught, and because he spoke rightly rightly to thee, and now, therefore, cursed be you from the ground, will open his mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand, and where thou didst bury him. And it shall be when thou shalt till it, it shall no more give you its strength as in the beginning, for thorns and thistles shall the ground produce, and thou shalt be moving and wandering in the earth until the day of thy death. And again, it says thy brother, right? It says the brother's blood. It says right here, Cain rose up, it says, body is turning dust, verse 28, and thou knew, where you at? I lost it. Right here. I lost my place, I'm sorry about that. Verse 29, the voice of thy brother cries unto me from the ground where thou hast slain him. The voice cries. I'm trying to tell you, we do not die, man. The voice, just like Rachel crying out to Joseph, Joseph crying out, talking about, Rose, mom, rise, wake up out of your sleep. You know, and y'all heard him crying and speaking. I'm just speaking to y'all, just letting you know what y'all telling me, man. So you let these people know you want to minister to them, man. They talking about, man, they dying, that's it. That's what a lot of people today believe. When they die, it's over. They don't have to worry about it. That's why they're living their life right now. Some believe there's a place to go to, and some people just believe there ain't no hell. There is a hell. All right, let's continue on. Let's go to Yahuwah. Let's go to Mark chapter 9. Let's put a little bit big now. I got both my books here. I'm just going straight to it. Thank you, y'all. I'm going all around the scriptures, man. Y'all gave me, man. I really want to go straight down, but I can't do that. Mark chapter 9, verse 42. This right here, scripture 2, Brother Favor. I'm thinking about you on this one. You had one in your service you was talking about earlier. Chapter 9, verse 42 and down. Whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it is better for him that a millstone will hang about his neck, and he were cast into the sea. Who are these little ones? Believe in me. And that's talking about his children. Not just talking about the kids growing up, the little children. Talking one about us. We are his children. We are his sons and his daughters. Think about it, somebody want to offend you. And I was, like I said, I was thinking about it. I was offended. I was truly offended Wednesday. And, you know what I'm saying? The reason I tell my brother Faye, talking about I was crying and she laughing at me crying. And like I said, I was trying to plead my case to her, the reason why, and she did not accept it. I was offended because I was doing things rightly for y'all. I did not lie. I did not cheat. I didn't do anything evil. But think about what y'all just said. I was thinking about this scripture right here. You know, it says, if thy hand, right here it says, if whoever should offend one of these little ones that believe in me, offend, it is better for him that a millstone will hang about his neck and he will cast into the sea. She didn't know about that. She didn't know about me offending me and everything like that. Searing everything, and how she was just and laughing, carried around because of the authority that she had. I think it was right, but like I said, it could be anything else. People don't know how they're offending you. They don't know they don't know who you are. You believe in y'all. I'm saying that if you being a testimony of y'all, you know what I'm saying, and they're offended and you offended like that, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, and they do wrong, get the man and woman y'all. Better put a millstone put on your neck, cast into the sea. But let's go down. 43. And if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter into the life commandment than having two hands to go into the hell, into the fire that never be quenched, where the worm dies not and the fire is not quenched. And if thy foot offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter halted into life than having 2 feet to be cast into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched. The fire never, where their worm die not, and the fire is not quenched. And if thy eye offend thee, pluck it out. It is better for thee to enter into the kingdom of Yah with one eye, than having two eyes to be cast into the hell fire. Wherefore their worm dies not, and the fire is not quenched. Now I start right there. Think about the rich man. His both hands in the fire, both eyes in the fire, both foot in the fire. You know what I'm saying? Where the worm dies not and the fire is not quenched, because he asked for some water for Abraham, asked for Elijah to dip his tip of finger, and he was in torment. He was in torment. So I'm trying to tell you that the worm is your soul. Your worm is not dying, and the fire is not quenched. Not quenched. Continue on. Let's go to Samuel chapter 28. 2 Samuel.
Yeah, I was wondering if
I'm going there too.
why you bothering.
Come on. I heard that today too. I was laughing. Stop, you in my head. I was laughing at that. Samuel, tell me about that, man. Tell me, leave me alone. 1 Samuel chapter 28, man. Where, yeah.
1 Samuel?
Yes, sir, I'm sorry. 1 Samuel. You get 2 Samuel, you're talking about King David mostly.
Yeah.
That's how I remember him.
I got
Verse 11 and 20. Chapter 28. 1 Samuel chapter 20, verse 11 and 20. Then said the woman, whom shall I bring up for unto thee? Talking to a witch. And he said, bring me up Samuel. And when the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice. And the woman spake to Saul, saying, why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. And the king said to her, be not afraid for what Saul's do. And the woman said unto Saul, I saw gods ascending out of the earth. And he said unto her, what form is he of? And she said, an old man cometh up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel, and he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed himself. And Samuel said unto Saul, why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up? And Saul answered, I am sore distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and Yah is departed from me, and answer me no more, neither by prophet nor by dreams. Therefore I have called you, that you mayest make known unto me what I shall do. Then said Samuel, wherefore then dost thou ask of me? Wherefore then dost thou ask of me? Seeing that Elohim is departed from you, and has become your enemy. Look at that, and become your enemy. And Elohim has done to him, as he spake by me. For the Elohim has rent the kingdom out of your hand, and give it to your neighbor, even to David. Because thou obeyest not the voice of Elohim, nor execute his fierce wrath upon the Amalek. Therefore have Elohim done this thing unto you this day. He's telling him, boy, he's straight cursing him. Verse 19. Moreover, Elohim will also deliver Israel with you into the hands of the Philistines, and tomorrow shall you and your sons be with me, and Elohim also shall deliver the host of Israel, Yisrael, unto the hands of the Philistines. Then Saul fell straightway all alone on the earth, and was so afraid because of the words of Samuel, and there was no strength in him, for he had eaten no bread all the day, nor all the night. All right? That's how bad that thing got him. Think about it. He was so vexed, man. That time he heard that word, he was done. Right here. It says right here, more verse 19, Elohim was also delivering Israel with you into the hands of the Philistines, and tomorrow, and you and your son be with me. And Elohim also shall deliver the host of Israel into the hands of the Philistines. So you, your sons, shall be with me. Think about that. In verse 14, and he said unto her, what form is he of? And she said, An old man come up, and he is covered with a mantle, and Saul perceived that it was Samuel, and he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed himself. And Samuel said unto Saul, Why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up? And Saul answered and said, I'm so distressed. And that's what Samuel said. Why you disquiet me is to bring me up. Again, he was sleeping. Again, Samuel was in Abraham's bosom. What Yeshua was talking about. There's a place where souls go at. That's why he asked me. You know, and y'all let him have that. You know y'all know everything, so y'all brought him up. So I'm going to prove it to you. Come on. All right? I'm going to show you some things. That y'all would let things happen like that. Now let's go to, thank you, Yahushua. Let's go to Genesis chapter 5. Just read Bereshit chapter 5. 7:24. Yes. 17, verse 17. And all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died, and Jared lived 162 years, he begat Enoch. And Jared lived after he begat Enoch 800 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years, and begat Methuselah. And Enoch walked with Yah after he begat Methuselah 300 years, and begat sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with Yah, and he was not, for Yah took him. I'll start right there. How Yahushua took Enoch. So we know Enoch is with y'all right now. So I'm trying to tell you that, you know, there's a place there where y'all has you. Does not have to be on the earth. There's a place. Continue on reading. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 2. And that's why I tell you, Brother Mike was in my sermon today. You don't even know that. We was talking. 2 Kings chapter 2. Let's get there. Kings chapter 2, verse 5. It says right here. This is talking about Elijah and Elisha. And Elijah is about to be taken up. This is about the third time he's going to a place, Jericho, verse 5. And the sons of the prophet were at Jericho came to Elisha and said unto him, Knowest thou that Elohim would take away your master from your head today? And he answered, Yea, I know it. Hold your peace. And Elijah said unto him, Tarry, I pray thee, here, for Elohim has sent me to Jordan. And he said, As Elohim liveth, and as the soul liveth, I will not leave you. And they two went on. And the 50 men of the sons of the prophet went and stood to view afar off. And they too stood by Jordan. And Elijah took the mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters. And they were divided hither and thither, so that they too went over on dry ground. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, Elijah said unto Elisha, Ask what I shall do for you before I be taken away from you. And Elisha said, I pray you, let a double portion of your spirit be upon me. And he said, Thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from you, it shall be so unto you. But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven, submarine. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, chariots of Yisrael, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his clothes, and rent them in two pieces. He took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of the Jordan. And he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and he spoke the waters and said, where is the Elohim Yah of Elijah? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted here and there, and Elisha went over. And then when the sons of the prophet which were to view at Jericho saw him, they said, the rock of Elijah does rest upon Elisha. And they came to meet him, and bowed themselves to the ground before him. And they said to him, behold now, there be with thy servant 50 strong men. Let them go, we pray thee, and seek your master, lest peradventure the rock of Elohim hath taken him up, and cast him upon some mountain, or into some valley. And he said, you shall not sin, you shall not sin. And when they urged him till he was ashamed, he said, send. They sent them for 50 men, and they struck 3 days, but found him not. And when they came again to him, for he tarried at Jericho, he said to them, did I not say unto you, go not? All right, I stop right there. Again, I'm talking about Elisha and Elijah. Elisha seen Elijah go. And I ain't went back over there to about Enoch, where the men followed Enoch. I couldn't find the scripture. I would have found that, how the men went with Enoch, and Enoch was gone. All right, I guess they traveled with Enoch, but Enoch was gone. That's in the scriptures. I got to find it, but I didn't get a chance to look it up. But I'm talking about Elisha and Elijah. And Elisha was right there when the chariots of fire came and took Elijah. He was right there when he seen Elijah change and transform. So I'm trying to tell you, there is a transformation. You get to Shamarine. There's a change. All right? And I'm trying to tell you that's going to happen with us. Nobody don't want to believe in the rapture. Nobody don't believe in the catching away of Yah. There's going to be a change. And what I'm trying to tell you, there's a place. Because Elijah is right there with Yah right now. I don't know where he's at, but I know he's not dead. You understand? He was Elijah. He was Yah. Continue on. Let's go to Numbers 34. We're going to talk about Musa. Musa was buried. I think Deuteronomy chapter 34. Deuteronomy 34. Four to 7. And Elohim said unto him, this is the land which I swear unto Abraham. This Yah is talking to Musa. Unto Isaac, and unto the seed, I have caused you to see it with your eyes, but thou shalt not go over there. So Musa, the servant of Elohim, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of Elohim. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor, but no man knoweth of his sculpture, his settler unto this day. And Musa was 120 years old when he had died. His eyes were not dim, nor his nature forced aback. And the children of Israel wept for Musa in the plains